Good morning, everyone. My name is Jim Prosser. I'm Executive Director for Centralina Council of Governments in Charlotte, North Carolina. We appreciate the opportunity to share with you some of the work that we're doing to benefit communities within our region. At the start of today's webinar, all participants' telephones are muted. You may use the control panel to submit questions at any time. In the question and answer session towards the end of today's webinar, we will unmute the individual participant's phone so you can ask questions. Today's session is being recorded and will be available on the COG website tomorrow morning. Just a quick review. This session is intended to provide some information so you can see how we might be a resource for you as you work with your communities. We also want to provide an overview of a project that was funded through HUD funds, the Connect Regional Growth Framework, which was funded through the HUD Sustainable Communities Regional Planning Grant. And we'd like to also discuss the outcomes of that initiative, as well as new initiatives that came about as a result of that work, and then respond to any questions you may have. Let's start with a brief background on our North Carolina Councils of Government. There are 16 regional councils established by the state. The regional or lead regional organizations provide administration, planning, fiscal management, community and economic development, grant writing, and serve as conveners for regional issues management. The Council of Government in Charlotte was established in 1968 as your district's regional council of governments. We are the state designated lead regional organization for the 9 counties Centralina Greater Charlotte region in North Carolina. Our 65 members of local governments include the counties of Anson, Cabarrus, Gaston, Iredell, Lincoln, Mecklenburg, Rowan, Stanley, and Union, and all the municipalities within each of those counties. Our board consists of elected officials from each of the members' local government unit. Our organization encompasses the Centralina Economic Development Commission, the Centralina Workforce Development Board, Area Agency on Aging, the Centralina Foundation, the Centralina Clean Fuels Coalition, and the Centralina Volunteer Transportation Organization. We work with local elected officials, our members, the managers, department heads, and staff as our direct customers, but we rely heavily upon existing organizations, both profit and nonprofit, such as Chambers of Commerce, Charlotte Regional Partnership, state and federal agencies. We develop regional strategies and systems essential to our members with a strategic focus on growing jobs in the economy, controlling cost of government, and improving quality of life. COG also manages over $20 million annually in federally funded programs that directly benefit your constituents and their communities. It is our hope that you will encourage multiple staff members in your office to attend our webinar series, and that you will help spread the word that COG is a well-equipped to be a valuable resource to you and your members of Congress. We want our members of Congress and their staff to call us for information, advice, tours, and whatever that is you need to most effectively represent our region. We are going to be better, too, about notifying you of events we're hosting locally, and hope that you and your members will do their best to attend and take advantage of those opportunities to discuss local issues that occur within our region with locally elected officials. Now to the overview of the Connect initiative. The initiative was really started as a result of interest by our local elected officials to address the projected growth within this region. Our region, the 9-county region, is expected to add 1.8 million people and 860,000 jobs by 2050. We frequently refer to the projection that we are projected to grow by 50% in 2 decades and double in 4 decades. That places us among one of the top 5 fastest growing regions in the country. And our members have indicated that it is essential that we focus our efforts on growing high quality jobs and businesses, including developing communities, to attractive to business growth. The population projections also indicate the fact that we are seeing early and late senior populations growing and expected to continue to grow in every county within our region. We are also seeing the millennial population as not only one of the largest cohorts nationally and fastest growing, but this group is flocking to Charlotte region for the opportunities it presents. The HUD Sustainable Communities Regional Planning Grant was a $4.9 million funded program that was initiated in 2011, and it extended over a 3-year planning period. Ready or not, growth is coming to our region, and that population growth that we projected is a significant cause of opportunity, but also concern, because we know that we're going to need to grow high-quality jobs to support the economies of the state and within our communities. It's inevitable that this region, for better or for worse, will change in profound ways as a result of this growth in the next 35 years. What is not inevitable are the consequences of this growth. We have the opportunity to choose to plan for this future growth and get it right for the first time. With the support from our partners for Sustainable Communities Grant and a local match of $3 million from a variety of organizations throughout the region came together in this 3-year planning process to look at systems that we need to grow, to support the growth. The process was designed with a focus on 4 key elements: to be data-driven, to be collaborative, to develop a consensus across all of our communities, and to be open source. The regional growth framework identified regional priorities, a preferred growth concept, and also tools, practical tools that could be used within our local government. The goal of the Connect was to build this regional growth framework from the ground up. One of the directions that we were provided by our elected board was that it was essential that this not be a top-down approach, but rather an initiative that resulted from the input of residents throughout all of our communities, with strong review by officials within our cities and within our counties. The result of this effort included identifying regional growth priorities. The second was a regional growth concept, which really turned out to be a quilt of local level preferred growth maps from 14 counties. It was created from existing community plans, ongoing discussions with local leaders, stakeholders within communities, staff, and residents. We also developed a toolkit of best practices available to local governments. The top priorities within the region are shown on this screen, and you can see that these priorities are really issues that you hear about on a regular basis. They include parks and open space, transportation choices, air quality, and other priorities important to residents throughout our region. The over 8,400 participants, that includes residents, individuals representing organizations, elected officials, and private businesses, participated in over 450 different types of events over the 3-year period to help build this plan. Local elected leaders led this effort. They were the champions of this process and really played a key role in not only getting people to participate, but also in reviewing and finally approving regional growth plan and the tools. The Connect engagement was really the heart of this effort. It was important because we wanted to make sure that the residents clearly saw that their work, that their words and their concerns were reflected. We heard a lot about downtown developments within communities across the region. Small communities had a very strong appreciation for their downtowns, their community characteristics, and wanted to support that through infill development, adaptive reuses where appropriate, redevelopment and rehabilitation. There was also a desire for broadband access, walkability and green space, and they wanted to be able to see a return on investment for work within their downtown areas. So the regional growth, preferred growth concept was one of the key outcomes, and that concept, as I mentioned earlier, is really a quilt of local preferred growth maps from the 14 counties, and we then quilted those growth concepts from each of the counties into a regional growth map. Again, this was not a top-down approach. It was an approach that was based upon feedback from residents, from local officials, that really developed the growth plan, and then really was the basis for the strategies to achieve that growth within our region. That growth plan was affirmed by the Connect Consortium in July 29th, 2014. That consortium included representatives from our communities, but also from the private sector and not-for-profit sector as well. The preferred growth concept points to regional systems that we need to grow and the need for local tools. Major systems included transportation, workforce and economic development, housing, land use, and water. Increased transportation choices was an example of one of the top priorities within all of our communities across our region. The third component of the regional growth framework is a toolkit. That toolkit includes about 80 different tools for local governments that they can use within their communities to help achieve their regional growth framework that they identified as important to them. The Connect outcomes and new initiatives that were initiated as part of the Connect work are reflected in a couple of the examples that we're going to provide to you today. They include the Centralina Career Headlight, which was really initiated even before the Connect planning process was completed. This was the first outcome of the HUD grant. It was an innovative web-based career tool for students and adult career changers that matches individual skills with in-demand careers available within the region. It's based upon data that we gather from our businesses, from our employers within the region. It identifies the certificate or degree required for those careers, along with data on wages and forecast demand for each of those professions. And it also locates the educational institutions in the region that are required certificate or degree program with a list, a map, and a link to their program websites. The Career Headlight has been recognized by the National Association of Development Organizations Innovation Award. The next initiative was the Greater Charlotte Regional Mobility Plan. Again, we recognize that quality of life really depends upon growing jobs in the economy, and freight is a critical factor in making sure that we have strong economic growth. I'm going to briefly touch on 5 regional subsystems and some examples of the Connect implementation and alignment. The goal of this project, of the regional freight project, is to assess the current state of truck and rail operations and identify ways to address future congestion issues, key regional bottlenecks, infrastructure deficiencies, and potential technology improvements to increase flow and safety of freight traffic. The project will outline links between freight and regional economic development goals, identify barriers to improving economic development and job growth within the region's logistics and manufacturing industries. This is a project that is underway now and is depending heavily upon input received and engagement from businesses and freight logistic companies within the region. Federal funds for this project are coming from the Federal Highway Administration and the Economic Development Administration. Connect demonstrated that we can collaborate within this region. This had a direct impact on our ability to fund this important regional project. The recommendations on the upcoming U.S. DOT funding initiative and NCDOT requirements, including the development and assignment of qualitative performance measurement strategies responsive to the federal and state mobility and efficiency goals, are one of our primary targets. The next initiative is identified as innovation corridors. One of the things that we noticed as we were meeting with residents and elected officials throughout the region is that there's real strong energy around transit, even in areas that will not see transit for decades or even generations. We saw this interest in urban, suburban, and rural communities. The Connect participants identified 63 miles of additional transit within dedicated right-of-ways that they would like to see, and identified even transit corridors that go beyond 2050 planning timeframe. The Innovation Corridors concept combines the priorities heard within Connect as a way to develop transit readiness and assist communities in their preparation for future transit use. If we're going to have transit in the region that extends outside of Mecklenburg County, what additional issues need to be discussed as part of this conversation? We certainly know that we need to look at transit as a way to support economic development and job growth within our region. And that's the intended purpose of this initiative. The next initiative is our comprehensive housing strategy. It's a community-based initiative. It's currently underway in Mooresville, the fastest growing community outside of Charlotte. This initiative is a comprehensive economic development strategy that combines transportation, business development, housing elements to guide community development. Using Connect regional housing data, we plan to conduct three or four pilots, just like the Mooresville Comprehensive Housing Strategy within the region. Mooresville's specific initiative has embarked with us on this first pilot, is developing a local housing strategy that is designed to help their community by preserving and enhancing the character and quality while accommodating the influx of new residents that they are seeing. It also is determining the types of housing in the area that are needed to grow jobs and support community growth based on feedback we're receiving from employees within the region, but residents who live in the community as well. We want to alleviate housing deficits for workforce and seniors and attract and retain young families. We also want to identify and remove regulatory barriers in meeting that demand and providing clear direction to developers. The 12 to 15 month comprehensive housing strategy involves community elected officials, staff, Chamber of Commerce, businesses, and community stakeholders. The Centralina Community Viz initiative reflects work to coordinate data. 3 of 4 MPOs and 2 rural planning agencies in this region have formed a partnership to enhance efficiencies in their annual socio-economic data projections. Population and data employment data projects have a direct impact upon future transportation dollars. And faced with ever-increasing scrutiny on how transportation data is collected and reported, the FHWA and NCDOT have supported a regional collaboration to collect the data. So we're using the database that was developed and coding 1.2 million parcels as part of the Connect process to share that data. It is producing consistent, replicable, documented process that complies with the direction provided from FHWA. Regional water strategy is critical. Our region includes two primary water basins, the Catawba and the Yadkin PD. The ability of adequate access to clean water will impact our economic development as this region grows. The regional water strategy has three primary goals, including establishing a cross-basin network of water resource management stakeholders who can guide long-term collaboration and monitor progress toward protecting water as a resource. It also provides awareness and capacity building in water resource management issues to increase understanding of the region's water resource needs and support long-term strategies. And finally, identify and prioritize long-term regional needs and develop a cross-basin long-term strategies to address any water resource gaps. We've received significant recognition for the work that's been completed so far, including in April of 2015, Sustain Charlotte recognized the local achievement in a variety of categories, including the process that was used. We led the nation in the number of residents involved with developing the regional growth framework, and we also developed results that had were very practical and accessible to residents and communities within our region, that provided for more vibrant downtowns, walkable activity centers, more active farmland, increased housing choice, better connected transit service, and enhanced global and economic competitiveness. We received in 2015 award from the American Planning Association, and that award recognized the readability, accessibility, and understandability of the plan that was prepared. And also liked how we communicated in a very practical, usable format for communities within our region. The Connect in 2013, the National Association of Development Organization Innovation Awards recognized our work in the economic development category. The basis of the work that was done within Connect was really our comprehensive economic development strategy that was prepared for the 9 county areas. That really, that work identified target competencies and target industries in the region and in each county, including automotive, logistics, biomedical, financial, energy, and aerospace, and aligned those industries with 56 higher education K through 12 entities and skills training provisions. It provided a database to deliver baseline economic, demographic, and workforce education and related community assessments for the Connect project. In 2014, the National Association of Development Organizations gave us another award in the economic development category for the career headlight, which won an award as the first operational outcome that integrated Connect's job, workforce, education alignment data in a user-friendly online search tool. Again, that data is available and usable within each county as well on a regional basis. More information about our Connect products is available through our website. I just want to note that Wake Forest University recently identified Connect tools as best in class in the country among regions with growth strategies. If you do have any questions, feel free to send us an email. We've provided contact information that is available on our website, and feel free to contact us either through the website or give us a phone call. We want to thank you for participating today. We are going to ask if you would provide some feedback to us. A survey link should appear at the close of this webinar today, and will be included in the post-webinar email that you should receive. Well, we want to share ideas for future webinar topics and ask you for your input on those topics. And we want to encourage you to share this with your colleagues. And finally, thank you for joining us today, and wish you a happy